In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I wrote my scoping review with the help of AI, what I let AI do and what I refuse to let it touch and why. If you're using AI too much, you are losing the learning, but if you refuse to use it at all, you do fall behind all of the other writers. So in this video, I'll walk you through how I use AI ethically without outsourcing my thinking, my arguments, or even my writing voice. If you've missed the previous video in the series where I break down each stage of my scoping review, I've linked a full playlist up there. What are you doing jumping into part 4 immediately like a maniac? Hi there, I'm Dr. Kenan Wong and I teach research at 2 UK universities and support postgraduate students on their dissertation and theses. On this channel, I make videos, tools and templates to help postgraduate researchers avoid common mistakes, understand what good research practice looks like and still enjoy the process. If you don't want to miss future videos on AI in research, scoping reviews or postgraduate research writing, make sure you are subscribed and hit the notification bell. In the previous video, I've covered data extraction and charting of my scoping review using AI. In this video, I'll walk you through how you can use AI when you write your research in an ethical way that does not take away all of the important learning or remove your personal style of writing. There is a certain accomplishment that I experienced when I completed drafting the first full draft of this research and read over the arguments I have made and put forward. I don't think the AI would have produced the same argument or would have made the same critical observations on the data, especially in the discussion sections, because it extends from my own understanding and knowledge about the topic. I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't use AI for much of the planning of the document, as I already had an idea about how I want the paper to look, but it was more critical later in the parts of the writing. The writing of the paper was fully manual, but I relied on AI for a very specific purpose, as it is something that I cannot do myself. So, the introduction section. I started writing the paper after the data extraction and charting. It was challenging to plan how much detail needs to go in, how jargonistic it needs to be. I generally know that I wanted to introduce the reader to the importance of AI in research, provide some background information about how AI can produce themes, because later when I write about how AI is used in practice, I need the reader to know what I'm talking about to begin with. After that, I want the background to lead to a rationale section. Most of the writing of the paper was the straightforward process of tying myself to the chair and getting words on paper. In the first draft, I am not concerned about how the writing presents itself. The grammatical mistakes, sentence structures, even citations don't matter to me at this point. I just need to write, and I cannot write if I'm also constantly editing and agonizing over every single sentence or paragraph. Writing the section on how various AI models work and how they generate themes needed a bit more AI guidance. There were a lot of terminologies that I needed confirmation on so that I'm not misrepresenting them or using the wrong terms in the wrong context. Accuracy was important here. I prompted AI for summaries on things that I wasn't certain about and checked my paragraphs for factual errors mostly. In scoping reviews, there's a lot of structure to how methods and results sections should look, so again, it's a matter of filling up the sections. The tricky thing here is mostly locating bits and pieces of information from Rayan, from AS Review, from Illicit AI, my various Excel spreadsheets, Zotero, etc. My methods section was largely my explanation and justification for every step of the research. It was actually the easier section to write in the paper because it was mostly descriptive narrating. The key focus here is to be transparent and ensure that everything is well supported, since I am conducting a review using AI and that is still considered very new in the field. The results section was also quite straightforward. I won't go into details about how to write a results section, but if you're interested in it, drop me a comment below. Results in scoping reviews is a matter of conveying what was in the Excel spreadsheets into an understandable manner. It just took time to organize the information. AI wasn't very helpful here because of the mistakes it has already made in the data extraction in my previous video. It is very likely to misunderstand the papers again, and all of my work in tidying and checking checking my data extraction becomes wasted if I go back to it. As I wrote the results section, I was already planning my discussion section mentally. This is one of the things that happen in the background when you put your own research together, and using AI to write takes it all away from you, and it becomes a slippery slope where the next sections become even more difficult to write and using AI becomes more tempting. I have a video on how to write discussion that's linked above if you're interested in learning the different steps and ways of putting this together. Aside from the mistakes in the data extraction, one of the other key things that held me back from letting AI tell me how to plan my discussion is because this is a core contribution of the paper. AI develops responses based on data that it's trained on, and I need original arguments that only the reviewer can provide and synthesize. So my discussion was constructed in 3 interrelated punchy arguments about the findings of the review. Because this was about generating creative arguments, there are a number of ways it can go wrong for me, such as fallacies in my argument, poor logic, undersubstantiated points, etc. This was where AI shone. I uploaded 3 arguments separately and asked AI to suggest improvements and identify weaknesses. I also had certain doubts about my discussions extending beyond what a scoping review can conclude, so I prompted the AI asking if my writing was too critical or analytical. I was also asking for further reading materials to learn more about how I can improve my writing as well. My conclusion section was manually written, it was short, and it's about drawing out the main points of the document, so that didn't take me long to write. I uploaded my draft and tried to prompt AI to generate an abstract, but I realized that the abstract missed some of the important points I wanted to draw out, so I redrafted the abstract myself. My problem as a writer is that I tend to get to a point where I've looked at my writing for so long and so often that I cannot see where the problems are with it anymore. At this point, it needs to be reviewed by another academic, but I wasn't ready for it to be reviewed yet. ChatGPT was used heavily for feedback on my writing over here. First, I uploaded the whole draft and asked for general feedback on the whole document. It provided some positive feedback and areas for improvement, which were quite helpful. Next, I started with the abstract, asking about how well it reflects my paper and where the writing could have been clearer. AI provided some good observations, but also some inappropriate ones, like this bit on asking me to push the critique further in the abstract, and that oversteps what a scoping review is about. AI noted some verbosity, so I prompted it further for specific areas where this is evident. I redrafted it after accepting some of the feedback and asked for further feedback on the outdated document afterwards. I did the same for every section of the paper, checking if AI has the same thoughts as I did on the sections. However, unlike getting my paper reviewed by another more senior academic, I feel more comfortable rejecting and challenging the feedback. So part of my conversation with AI is to question its judgment and only take on the feedback that I'm convinced of. Some of the prompts are also crafted to show AI how to read my writing as well, briefing it on my intentions for the section and what I wanted to convey, and then ask AI how well I've achieved that. I approach this step by step because I want to ensure that every section of the paper has the attention it needs and AI doesn't confuse itself and me by jumping around the paper. I've learned that writing is fun, and AI can so very easily take that all away from me. It was tempting to let AI take over so much of this process, especially when I'm staring at a blank page and struggling to start. I can see why so many students are seduced by the ease of letting AI do their work. Other academics, and well, me, if you've seen my other videos on this topic, we harp on things like academic ethics, missing out on learning opportunities. You see some unis scramble to incorporate AI in their learning and teaching students how to prompt AI, etc. But we forget one of the most important things, and that is that research is fun. And writing something original can be enjoyable, and putting forth an argument that no one else has ever developed based on your own findings is an achievement in itself. We don't talk enough about how sad it is to let AI take that away from us. Some days I look back at my old publications and writing and even university essays, and it is motivating to know that I am capable of developing strong academic work, and often I wonder if I can ever write like that again. Now I know I can because I have written this paper. The way I've incorporated AI in the writing allowed me to harness the power of AI, but still hold on to my writing style and all of the intrinsic rewards of writing. We're coming close to an end to this series, but this is not the last video. In the next video, I will cover the miscellaneous elements like time, data management, project management, publication, etc. of the scoping review. This is not AI driven, but they're important for students who are going to execute their own studies. Again, the full paper is in the video description for more information. If you enjoyed the series, drop me a like so that I know what kind of videos to work on next time. And if you have any questions about the process of this review or how I used AI, comment below and I'll be happy to answer your questions. If you're watching this, you'll probably find my previous video on using AI for research very helpful too. I have other videos on common scoping review mistakes on my channel. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!